Join Money Smart Basics as we dive into Trump's shocking plan for federal employee layoffs, uncovering the truth behind it. Part 3 of the series, What's Next? Government Layoffs. This is why you need to know about Trump's federal layoff plan. It's more than just a rumor. Join Money Smart Basics as we dive into Trump's shocking plan for federal employee layoffs, uncovering the truth behind it. Stay informed, your job might depend on it. Remember to like and subscribe for more Money Smart Basics videos. If you have any suggestions for financial literacy topics, please leave a comment. Stay until the end to receive a bonus tip. Look in the description below for wealth building tools and income opportunities. The Trump administration promised to shake things up, and shake things up they did, particularly for federal employees. Thousands found themselves without jobs, casualties of an administration dead set on shrinking the government. But here's the kicker. No one seems to know exactly how many people were let go. The lack of transparency is staggering. The administration touted these actions as necessary for efficiency and cost cutting. But without hard numbers, it's impossible to assess the true impact. What we do know is that the fear and uncertainty were palpable. Federal workers, once assured of stable careers, were left wondering if they'd be next. This wasn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. These were real people, scientists, analysts, program coordinators, who dedicated their lives to public service. Their livelihoods were upended, and the vital services they provided were left vulnerable. The silence from the administration was deafening, only amplifying the anxiety rippling through the federal workforce. The axe fell across various agencies, leaving a trail of disruption in its wake. The Department of Veterans Affairs, tasked with caring for those who served our country, saw over 1,000 employees shown the door. Among them were researchers working on critical health issues like cancer and opioid addiction. So much for supporting our veterans. The Education Department wasn't spared either. At least 39 employees, including special education specialists and student aid officials, were let go. Funding cuts to the Institute of Education Services further hampered their ability to monitor student progress. The message was clear. Education wasn't a priority. The Energy Department initially laid off hundreds of employees involved in nuclear weapons programs, only to backpedal hours later. This chaotic flip-flop epitomized the administration's haphazard approach. The Department of Health and Human Services also faced cuts, with the CDC initially slated to lose nearly 1,300 employees. While the final number was reduced, the damage was already done. From Homeland Security to the IRS to the National Park Service, no agency seemed safe. The cuts were sweeping, impacting everything from cybersecurity to tax collection to park maintenance. The administration claimed these actions were about streamlining government, but the reality was far messier, leaving agencies scrambling to function with depleted staffs. The deferred resignation proposal. As if the layoffs weren't enough, the administration floated a deferred resignation proposal. This scheme offered financial incentives, months of paid leave, to employees who voluntarily quit by a certain date. It was presented as a win-win. Employees got a nice severance package, and the government further reduced its workforce. But critics weren't buying it. They argued this was a thinly veiled attempt to circumvent legal protections for federal employees. The proposal reeked of coercion, pressuring workers to choose between leaving on their own terms or potentially being fired later. It was a classic case of take the money and run, with a hefty dose of intimidation thrown in. Thankfully, a federal judge saw through the charade. The plan was blocked before the deadline, pending further legal challenges. The judge recognized the inherent unfairness of the proposal and its potential to undermine the rights of federal workers. It was a small victory for those facing the administration's axe, but the fight wasn't over. The Trump administration's assault on the federal workforce went beyond direct firings. They also weaponized the budget process, implementing freezes and suspensions that had a ripple effect across the country. Federal grants and loans were put on hold, impacting trillions of dollars allocated to vital programs. Healthcare research, education initiatives, environmental protection, all were caught in the crosshairs. The administration justified these actions as a necessary review for ideological bias in funding. But this flimsy excuse fooled no one. It was a transparent attempt to starve programs they didn't like, regardless of their merit or the needs of the American people. The consequences were immediate and far-reaching. Research projects stalled, jeopardizing scientific breakthroughs. Schools and hospitals faced funding shortfalls, forcing them to cut services or lay off staff. The freeze created a climate of uncertainty, paralyzing essential functions of government. It was a stark reminder that when ideology trumps reason, everyone loses. Section 5. Guardians removed the dismissal of inspectors general. In a move that sent chills down the spines of good governance advocates, the Trump administration dismissed at least 17 inspectors general. These officials, appointed to ensure accountability and root out fraud within their respective agencies, were suddenly deemed expendable. Inspectors general are meant to be independent watchdogs, free from political interference. They play a crucial role in holding government accountable and maintaining public trust. But the administration viewed them as obstacles, pesky investigators who might uncover inconvenient truths about their actions. The dismissals were swift and ruthless, often accompanied by dubious justifications. Critics decried the move as a blatant attempt to obstruct oversight and shield the administration from scrutiny. It was a clear signal that transparency and accountability were not priorities. The removal of these watchdogs eroded public trust and raised serious concerns about potential corruption within the government. Section 6. The human cost of efficiency, lost livelihoods, and broken trust. Behind the statistics and political maneuvering were real people whose lives were upended. The layoffs and budget cuts weren't just abstract policy decisions, they had tangible consequences for federal employees and their families. Careers were derailed, mortgages were threatened, and retirement plans were thrown into disarray. The emotional toll was equally devastating. Many federal workers dedicated their lives to public service, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to make a difference. The abrupt dismissals and hostile work environment created by the Trump administration left them feeling betrayed and demoralized. The constant fear of layoffs, coupled with the disrespect shown by the administration, eroded morale and shattered trust. The message was clear: their service was no longer valued. This toxic environment had lasting repercussions, making it difficult to recruit and retain talented individuals willing to serve in government. Section 7. A government in limbo, the long-term impact on services. The Trump administration's actions weren't just about shrinking the size of government, they were about crippling its ability to function effectively. The loss of experienced personnel, coupled with the constant threat of budget cuts, created a climate of fear and uncertainty that permeated every level of the federal workforce. The impact on government services was undeniable. Agencies struggled to fulfill their missions with depleted staffs and dwindling resources. Wait times for benefits increased, backlogs piled up, and critical projects were put on hold. The government's ability to respond to emergencies and provide essential services to the American people was compromised. The damage extended beyond immediate service disruptions. The loss of institutional knowledge and expertise due to layoffs and attrition had long-term consequences. It became harder to attract and retain qualified individuals, creating a brain drain that further hampered the government's effectiveness. The Trump administration's short-sighted policies left a lasting scar on the federal workforce and its ability to serve the nation. Section 8. Echoes of accountability, legal challenges and criticisms. The Trump administration's assault on the federal workforce didn't go unchallenged. Lawsuits were filed, alleging that the layoffs and dismissals violated federal law and employee rights. Legal experts questioned the legality of the deferred resignation proposal and the arbitrary nature of many dismissals. Congressional Democrats launched investigations, demanding transparency and accountability from the administration. They accused the Trump administration of undermining the civil service, eroding morale, and jeopardizing the effectiveness of government. The administration's actions were met with widespread criticism from labor unions, good governance groups, and concerned citizens. The fight for accountability was an uphill battle. The Trump administration was notorious for its disregard for norms and its willingness to flout the law. But the legal challenges and public outcry served as a crucial check on their power, shining a light on their abuses and holding them somewhat accountable for their actions. Section 9. The future of the federal workforce, a crossroads of uncertainty. The Trump administration's legacy will forever be intertwined with its assault on the federal workforce. Their actions left a lasting impact, eroding morale, depleting expertise, and undermining the public's trust in government. The future of the federal workforce remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the damage inflicted will take years to repair. Rebuilding trust and attracting talented individuals back to public service will require a concerted effort. It will require strong leadership committed to restoring the integrity and effectiveness of the civil service. It will require investing in training, providing competitive salaries, and creating a work environment where employees feel valued and respected. The future of our nation depends on a strong and effective federal workforce. We need dedicated public servants who are committed to serving the American people, not advancing a partisan agenda. It is time to reject the divisive rhetoric of the past and embrace a future where public service is once again seen as a noble calling. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. With that, you're ahead of 90% of most people in America. Here is the bonus tip that we promised. I bet you didn't know thousands of federal jobs are at risk. Yep, it's true. Federal layoffs could impact thousands. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments and check out Money Smart Basics channel for more political and financial literacy insights. The information in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and is not intended as financial advice. We are not financial advisors, and the content should not be construed as professional financial advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified financial advisor or other professional regarding your specific financial situation. The use of any information provided in this video is solely at your own risk. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment for more Money Smart Basics videos.